Okay folks, I'm at Trammel Fossil Park. It's actually nice and sunny out. This is beautiful weather now. We're supposed to be getting some nicer temperatures here coming up next few days. Of course I'll be working, lovely. I went with schedule right as planned. Basically was hoping to knock this rest of this tree thing out within an hour. About basically did that. The only reason it took that long is because I had to stop and put the chainsaw of a chain back on. It got disconnected, or no, it actually got a chunk of wood was lodged in there. I thought I had broke it again, but it's still under warranty because it has a 2-year warranty, and I bought it in like 2008. So they basically you take it to a repair center and they ship it back, and they ship you a new one right to your house. It was actually really nice. I'm going to spin this around and show you a few cuts here. This is the one I just finished that I had been doing basically in a different video a few posts ago. I did have to jump on it a little bit and kind of spin it and remove. Actually, what was one of the pains was, if you look over here, there was this big old grapevine underneath it. I had to cut that out. It was actually holding it up. Now that is a big grapevine. If you don't know anything about grapevines, that's a big one. You can see a little bit more of it over here. I kind of got it cut, so basically I made a little bench here, even though you could sit on the actual thing itself too. I tried to do that with my cuts here. You can kind of see it. It's, you know, I use the axe some on both sides. I always do. I just love cutting with an axe, and basically if you don't keep in practice, you get I don't know, you just lose practice on it. You don't get any good. Now this has been really the hardest tree I have done here. I was telling somebody that was asking me about how this saw works. It's a pretty cool saw. It's just, it's not a gas-powered one. It's not that big. It's only, I don't know, an 8-inch blade or bar or whatever you call it. But this tree, I mean, I'll show you how big this thing is. I'm going to give you some type of perspective. There's my foot, basically. I mean, this is my leg, basically. My whole leg here. It is a very, very big tree. And I'll show you, this one, actually, when it got cut, the rest of the thing eventually stood up. It was a wild. Now it's probably going to be backlit because of the sky, so I don't know. I actually had started on a second cut like I always do, and went after the first one again, and basically the thing stood up because the root mass was so big on the thing. I knew it was going to move, so I was prepared for basically evading any type of thing that would kill me, because when you're cutting this stuff, particularly big stuff, particularly stuff that can stand up or shift, move, I mean, you can basically, I'm going to spin it back to me, you basically can get really hurt. You can break legs, you can die. You got to keep that in mind. I do things, I think things through, I have a very high IQ and ability to just devour things and patterns and systems and analyze how things should be done and how hopefully not to do them. And really, in a situation like this, particularly with a tree like that, I was ready to move. Basically, I'll show you this, I'll spin this back here. See this tree here? When I was cutting this, I was basically hiding behind this tree, ready to rock and roll, get out of the way when that puppy stood up. So yeah, it's and I mean, when it came down, it basically decapitated that tree up top there. So I mean, it's interesting. I've done some other stuff down here. I'll walk down here and show you. This is all at Trammel Fossil Park. A nature center member told me about it many years ago, and I just come on here, and these are some of the first cuts I ever did. You can see they're actually kind of aged. That's probably, I think it was 2008 maybe when I did those cuts, toward the latter part of 2008, after I had got done cutting down a 40-foot ash tree, largely with a hatchet. Why? I don't know. I just do things because I feel like doing them, and to see if you can do them. That's what you got to do. Ooh, looks like maybe got another tree down here. Now this is another one I cut out. Basically, so yeah, this is Trammel. Nobody else takes care of it. I do it. It's fun. used to be a nice little school for the kids and that, and they had, you know, lots of nature learning. And unfortunately, it's no longer. Man, that's a nice clean break on that. It almost looks like somebody cut it, but they didn't. Just a beauty of a break. And then back down there is my tree. If you look in some of my earlier videos, you'll see me up on top of that thing, almost sliding off it because it's wet. That's where I saw some coyotes, or a coyote, down in this underbrush here, or undergrowth, or whatever you want to call it. And then if you keep going straight ahead, basically you get to the fossil wall of Trammel Fossil Park. This is actually not the Trammel property, it's the Princeton school properties, but they don't really do anything. But I mean, when I was cutting this one, I was actually expecting it to stand up because of this large root mass right here. This thing is a big old root mass. I mean, you got like almost like a pond sometimes about falling down in this thing. I mean, look at this root mass. It's taller than me. I mean, I was expecting, when I was cutting that, if I had cut down probably a little lower, I was waiting for it to stand up. But basically where I had cut it was where the trail was. But I was ready because I had done this after I had done that one I showed you in the beginning. But basically, I mean, it's not perfect. I could come through here and cut some. But see, a lot of people will come through here and they're like, well, the Boy Scouts used to do it or something, blah, blah, blah. I say, well, it's no longer a school, so it's not going to be maintained by Boy Scouts and that. And I look at these people that use it, and I sit there and think, well, you know, you could easily just pick up a bottle or a can, like, you know, here's a wrapper here. And it's, people just, in our society, just think everybody else should do it for them. And, I don't know, it's part of my personal opinion, a bit of almost a meanness that has permeated all culture through all parts of it, you know, whether it's from religious people, you know, that are some of the nastiest people some of the times that they think they're so wonderful because they think they're so close to the truth in that, or just, you know, just somebody because they're plain basically stupid. And they're, you know, I can handle the stupid people being kind of mean because you almost expect that, because I have a saying, you have to have a degree of intelligence to have manners, and I believe that. You know, you don't have to be super bright to know how to treat people, but I think you have to have at least somewhat of an IQ to basically think, this is how I want to be treated, so I'm going to treat somebody else. And, you know, everybody else, but you know, this is how I want to be treated, so this is one reason I come and I do some basically work here on these trails, because I know families use it, and I've met some really nice people, and the vast majority of the people I've dealt with have been very nice here, thanking me and that. And there was just one couple one time, and it was just like, particularly the guy, and it was just like, dude, get your lazy butt down here and remove some stuff too if you want to kind of give me a little bit of criticism about how I'm clearing the trails. Like I wasn't doing or he wanted a certain section done, and I'm looking at him like, dude, you're on crack rock. But so many people seem like they are. You don't have that term calling people crackheads because they're all right in the head, I suppose. Well, I'm going to wrap this up because I got to get back and do a market research study down in Kentucky on country music. Woohoo! Surf's up.